Hello colleagues, welcome to this online refresher course Concerns in Educational Research and Assessment under ARPIT 2019. I am Pradeep Kumar Mishra, Professor in Department of Education, Chaudhary Charan Singh University, Meerut. I extend my greetings to you all on behalf of National Resource Center for Education, that is NRC for Education, Central University of South Bihar, Gaya. I am here to discuss with you a very important and relevant topic, that is mixed methods research. I hope that after completion of this session, you will be able to explain mixed method research, appraise core assumptions behind mixed method research, decide when to use mixed method research, and formulate different mixed method research designs. Now let us begin. Now we are going to talk about quantitative data. Quantitative data includes close-ended information such as that found to measure attitude. For example, rating scales. I suppose that you have used rating scales, and for measuring behavior, you have used observation checklist. You have also used questionnaires and performance instrument. And analysis of quantitative data usually consists of statistically analyzing obtained scores, and you have used a different type of statistical technique to use to analyze quantitative data. And besides, we also collect qualitative data to conduct research. Qualitative data consists of open-ended information that the researcher usually gathers through interviews, focus groups, and observations. And analysis of the qualitative data means words, text, or behaviors is conducted by putting obtained information into different categories. Now, here I am giving you an example. Suppose in your class, you would like to measure how happy your students are. So, you will normally collect quantitative data, maybe a checklist or a questionnaire or a rating scale, and then you will analyze this data. But do you think that this data will reveal everything? Of course, it will reveal that how your students are feeling, how much happy they are, but you don't know how an individual student is feeling and what are other things that are going in their minds. To know this, you need qualitative data. So, conducting a research, it means both type of data have different purposes. Quantitative data usually tells about outer things and mainly tells us about different quantities, and qualitative data tells us about inner feelings and ideas. So, it will be better to use quantitative data and qualitative data, and when we are going to use both quantitative and qualitative data, we call it mixed method research. So, now we are coming to mixed method research. What is mixed method research? Mixed method research is an approach to research in the social, behavioral, and health sciences in which the investigator gathers both quantitative, and normally we call quantitative as close-ended, and qualitative we usually call it open-ended data. Means in mixed method research, a researcher collects both type of data, quantitative data and qualitative data. Now, in other type of research, sometimes we only collect quantitative data or qualitative data, but in mixed method research, researcher collects both quantitative data and qualitative data, and then integrates the two, and then draws interpretation based on the combined strength of both sets of data to understand research problem. So, mixed method research is different from other kind of research that it is mainly based on two set of data, quantitative and qualitative, and integration of both data to understand the problem. So, we can say we have three types of research: quantitative research, qualitative research and a mix of data set is known as mixed method research. Now we are going to discuss what are core assumptions behind mixed method research. Usually, mixed method research is based on the assumption that when an investigator combines statistical trends, we call it quantitative data, with stories and personal experiences, we call it qualitative data. This collective strength provides a better understanding of the research problem than either form of data alone. You can understand this by taking your own example. You have an outer world and you have an inner world. In outer world, people know you and how successful you are, how many goods you are possessing, and from inner world, it depends on you, how happy you are, what are you thinking, what are your ideas, what are your perception about your life. So, if would like to know about you, he or she must know how happy you are from outer side and how happy you are from inner side. So, combining both will give a good picture about you rather than asking or telling about yourself from outer perspective or inner perspective. So, similarly, mixed method research tells us a better picture, a better story about combining both quantitative and qualitative data. Mixed method research offers the possibility of triangulation. Triangulation is a very popular word. Triangulation includes the use of several means like methods, data sources and researchers to examine the same phenomena. So, mixed method research provides us an opportunity to triangulate the things, to repeat methods, to use different methods, different data sources and researchers to examine the same phenomena. Now, the most important question is when to use mixed method research. An article published on Food Risk Resource Center states that mixed method research is useful when one wants to validate or corroborate the results obtained from other methods. Suppose you conducted a study and you use quantitative data set and you would like to validate this data set from qualitative data. So, one set of data, validation of one set of data from another set of data is helpful, and here mixed method research comes into picture. And when you would like to use one method to inform another method, suppose quantitative data revealed that students in your class are quite happy, then another data will reveal what is behind their happiness, means one method to inform another method. Then you are continuously look at a research question from different angles. You would like to probe your research question from one angle, means one angle is quantitative data, another angle is qualitative data, and you are using both to understand your problem better and clarify unexpected findings or potential contradictions. Sometimes when you are thinking, okay, this is the result of my study and why this result is coming, then you are using another type of data set to understand the result in a better way. When you would like to elaborate, clarify or build on findings from other method, you use mixed method research. And when you would like to develop a theory about a phenomena of interest and then test it, then you also use mixed method research. And when you would like to generalize findings from qualitative research, you use mixed method research. So, you can see you use mixed method research for a number of reasons, but the basic assumption is you use two types of data set, qualitative and quantitative, and you validate one with the help of another. And now we are going to talk about what are basic mixed methods designs. According to CUSB, there are three popular mixed method research designs. Before discussing these research designs, first you have to understand, so in mixed method research we use mainly two things, qualitative data and quantitative data, and there are three ways to use these data. First, you are collecting quantitative data and qualitative data simultaneously. Second, you are collecting quantitative data first and qualitative data afterwards. Third, you are collecting qualitative data first and collecting quantitative data afterwards. Here, these designs are based on these three assumptions. So, the first design is called as convergent design. This design involves the separate collection and analysis of quantitative and qualitative data, means you collect quantitative data and qualitative data, and the intent is to merge the results of the quantitative and qualitative data analysis. Here you collect quantitative data, you collect qualitative data, and you get results from based on the quantitative data, you get results based on qualitative data, and then you merge the results of the quantitative and qualitative data to come with conclusions or your results. This is usually named as convergent design. The second one is explanatory sequential design. The intent of the explanatory sequential design. Here you can see two terms, explanatory means going to explain, and sequential means in a order. So, explanatory sequential design is to begin with a quantitative strand and then conduct a second qualitative strand to explain the quantitative results. Means you are collecting quantitative data first, and then in second phase you are collecting qualitative data, and then you are using qualitative data to explain the quantitative result. Means explanatory sequential design. You are explaining the results obtained from quantitative data with the help of qualitative data, and that is why this design is named as explanatory sequential design. And our third design is exploratory sequential design. Earlier it was explanatory sequential design, and now it is exploratory sequential design. Here there are two terms, exploratory, explore, and sequential. The intent of the exploratory sequential design is a problem through qualitative data collection and analysis, develop an instrument or intervention, and follow with a third quantitative phase. Means here you are collecting qualitative data first, and then to verify this qualitative data you are using quantitative data. Earlier you in explanatory sequential design you use quantitative data first and then you use qualitative data. Here you are using qualitative data first and then you are validating the claims made by qualitative data through quantitative data. So, these are three popular designs. We also call it basic design, and these are convergent design, explanatory sequential design, and exploratory sequential design. Now, we are going to talk about how to illustrate mixed method designs. When you are reading about mixed method design, you are seeing different type of terms, and there are some shortcuts to explain mixed method designs that I am going to discuss with you. Earlier, we use a term triangulation, and triangulation is a very important term to with reference to mixed method research. Another useful term is simultaneity. Simultaneity forms the basis of the distinction between concurrent and sequential design. Before going further, let us discuss what do you mean by concurrent and what do you mean by sequential. Concurrent means parallel, two things are going to one by one and in a parallel at the same time, and sequential, one thing is going first and then followed by second thing. So, simultaneity forms the basis of distinction between concurrent and sequential design. In a sequential design, the quantitative component precedes the qualitative component or vice versa, means one type of data set is collected first and followed by another kind of data set. This is a sequential design. And in a concurrent design, both components are executed almost simultaneously. So, in sequential design, we conduct one set of data first and followed by another set of data second, and in concurrent design, we collect both type of data at the same time. And concurrence is indicated by a plus between two components, and these two components are qualitative and quantitative. For denoting qualitative, we use QUAL, and for denoting quantitative, we use QUAN. And so, for example, we would like to show the concurrence, then we will write it like QUAL, qual plus quan, while sequentiality is indicated with a arrow, and in this case it will be qual arrow quan. And now I am going to tell what do you mean by we have written qual with capital letters and quan with smaller letters. So, use of capital letters for one component and lowercase letters for another component in the same design suggests that one component is primary and the other is secondary or supplemental. Means you can see that we have written qual in capital letter means qualitative data is primary, and written quan in small caps means quantitative data is secondary. If we have written Quen as capital and Quel as small, it means Quen was primary and Quel was secondary. So, we use these 4 things plus, arrow, small caps and caps to denote mixed method designs. And now, what are popular mixed method designs? Morse and Niehaus listed 8 mixed method designs in their book and suggested that authors create more complex combination when needed. We are going to discuss these designs one by one. The first is Quel plus Quen. Here you can see Quel is in caps and Quen is in small letters, and this is also called as inductive simultaneous design, where the core component is qualitative and the supplemental component is quantitative. Here this is inductive simultaneous design, and the second is Quel arrow Quen. This is inductive sequential design when the core component is qualitative and the supplemental component is quantitative. The third one is Quen plus Quel. This is deductive simultaneous design where the core component is quantitative and the supplemental component is qualitative. The fourth one is Quen arrow Quel. This is deductive sequential design where the core component is quantitative and the supplemental component is qualitative. So, in the first two, Quel was primary and the second two, Quen was primary. And now, the fifth one is Quel plus Quel. This is inductive simultaneous design where both components are qualitative. This is multi-method design rather than a mixed method design. The upper ones were the mixed method design. This is a multi-method design. And now, this Quel arrow Quel, this is inductive sequential design where both components are qualitative. This is a multi-method design rather than a mixed method design. And then Quen plus Quen, this is deductive simultaneous design where both components are quantitative. This is a multi-method design rather than a mixed method design. And then Quen arrow Quen, deductive sequential design where both components are quantitative. This is multi-method design rather than a mixed method design. So, you will be surprised or you would like to know what is the difference between all these designs. In Quel plus Quen, when we are writing Quel plus Quen or Quel followed by Quen means we are collecting both type of data sets, but in last 4 we have written Quel plus Quel followed by Quel, Quen plus Quen and Quen followed by Quen means we are primarily collecting qualitative data and supplementing from qualitative data as well, or we are collecting quantitative data and supplementing quantitative data as well. So, we can use different type of design and these designs will be based on the research purpose or the problem of our study. Similarly, Johnson and Christensen also constructed 9 mixed method designs, allowing the user to construct more complex design. For example, they have proposed a design like Quel plus Quen followed by Quen followed by Quel. It means in this design one will collect qualitative data and quantitative data and mix the results from both, and this result will be followed by collection of a different set of quantitative data, and these 3 data sets will be validated with the help of qualitative data. So, you can see there are a number of mixed method designs given by different authors and researchers, and you can use any one of them as per the need of your study, as per the objective of your study. But the basic thing that you are having 2 types of data set, qualitative and quantitative data, and you are mixing them as per the need of your study. Now, we are going to start with a very important question: how to conduct a mixed method research. Usually, there are number of steps and Rees has prescribed following steps for conducting a mixed methods research. Of course, you will start any research with a research problem. So, identification of the research problem is first step. After identifying your research problem, you are going to determine whether a mixed method study is feasible. Means you have to decide whether you are going to use mixed method or not, and if this study is feasible for mixed method research, then you will proceed towards. Then development of a clear and sound rationale for doing a mixed method study. You have to describe that why you would like to use mixed method studies, why you are not following only quantitative or qualitative one, why you are using mixed method. So, you have to come with logical arguments and proceed accordingly. Then your next step will be identification of the appropriate mixed method design to guide your data collection. The next step will be development of research questions for both quantitative and qualitative methods, means you will collect quantitative data and qualitative data. So, what type of questions will be leading for collection of quantitative data and what type of question will be leading for collection of qualitative data. So, you will develop a number of research questions. Some research question will lead towards quantitative data and some questions will lead towards collection of qualitative data. And then of course, review of related literature and development of a written review, and this review of related literature will also help you to justify your claim that why you are conducting a mixed method research. Then of course, you will collect data, you will collect data as prescribed above, you will collect quantitative data as well as you will collect qualitative data. Then analysis of data and development of conclusions and recommendation. As you can see, there are similar steps, but the difference between a quantitative, a qualitative or a mixed method research is here you are arguing that why you are going to conduct mixed method research, what type of data you are going to collect from quantitative techniques and what type of data you are going to collect from qualitative techniques, and then what will be the research design for your study, and then how you will validate one set of data from another set of data. So, these will be the steps. I am again repeating these steps for you: identification of the research problem, then determining whether a mixed method study is feasible or not, then development of a clear and sound rationale for doing a mixed method study, then identification of the appropriate mixed method designs to guide your data collection, then development of research question for both quantitative and qualitative methods, review of related literature and development of a written review, collection of data, analysis of data and development of conclusions and recommendation, and then of course preparation of a final research report. So, steps are almost same, but you have to clearly explain what type of quantitative data you will collect and what type of qualitative data you will collect and how you are using these data sets to mix with each other and to come to your final conclusion. Now, we are going to discuss what are advantages of mixed method research. Wisdom and Criswell listed a number of advantages of mixed method research, and the first is comparing quantitative and qualitative data. Mixed method research help us to compare both data sets. What do you got from quantitative data is validated through qualitative data. So, it provides you opportunity to compare your quantitative data and qualitative data as well as to mix both kind of data. Then help us to get reflection of participants about any situation, condition or any set of criteria. So, reflection is important, and usually you are aware that qualitative study help us to get reflections of participants. So, reflection of participants you can record in mixed method research. Then it fosters scholarly interactions. During quantitative data, you usually provide checklist or questionnaire to participants, they record their preferences and send it back to you. But during qualitative data, you ask them, you take interview, you observe them, you note down their stories, and when you mix these stories, these ideas with the quantitative data, it fosters scholarly interaction. Scholarly interaction means scholarly interaction of data provided through quantitative techniques and data provided through qualitative techniques. And then it provides methodological flexibility. As we have discussed earlier, sometimes you start with quantitative data, then move toward qualitative data. Sometimes you start with qualitative data and move towards quantitative data. Sometimes you collect both data set together and sometimes one by one. So, it provides you a kind of methodological flexibility where you can proceed and came back again to collect different data and then proceed again. So, this helps. And then it collects rich and comprehensive data. As we discussed earlier, any research have two sides. In one side is of qualitative data and another side is of quantitative data. And mixed method research gives us opportunity to collect rich and comprehensive data means quantitative data supported by qualitative data and vice versa, or qualitative data supported by quantitative data. Then of course, there are certain limitations of mixed method research, and when we are talking about limitation of mixed method research, there are a number of limitations, and the first one is the research design can be very complex. Of course, you know that it is quite easy to conduct a single type of research. Suppose you are conducting a quantitative research, it is simple, or you are conducting a qualitative research, is simple, but here in mixed method research, you are mixing both type of data sets, and you have to choose an appropriate research design, and sometimes this research design can be very complex, and if you are not skilled, if you have not given proper thought to it, maybe the results will be not as good as you are expecting. Then second, of course, it takes much more time and resources to plan and implement this type of research, and the reason is obvious. First, because you are collecting quantitative data as well as you are collecting qualitative data, and then sometimes you are mixing them and then you are again collecting data. So, this takes much more time and resources to plan as well as to implement this type of research. The third limitation is it may be difficult to plan and implement one method by drawing on the findings of another. In theory, it looks very simple and very easy to say that you are validating the claims of quantitative data by following qualitative data, or you are validating the claims of qualitative data followed by quantitative data, but in reality, it is quite difficult to plan and implement one method by drawing on the findings of another. You need a certain kind of expertise and insight to mix both and to complement and supplement the findings of one data set from another. And the fourth limitation is that it may be unclear how to resolve discrepancies that arise in the interpretation of the findings. Sometimes quantitative data tells us different story and qualitative data tells us different stories, and then both stories are different, then it will be a question or a problem for you which data set to rely upon. So, resolving these discrepancies arising from the interpretation of the finding is also a task that will provide a kind of difficulty for you, and this can also be noted as limitation of mixed method research. In a way, we can say there are four main limitations of mixed method research. The first is that the research design can be complex. It takes much more time and resources to plan and implement this type of research. And the third one, it may be difficult to plan and implement one method by drawing on the findings of another. And the fourth one, it may be unclear how to resolve discrepancies that arise in the interpretation of the findings. And friends, now what is the future of mixed method research? So, as you are aware that earlier there was a wave when everybody was using or propagating for quantitative research. Then came a wave where everybody was advocating, particularly in social sciences, to go for qualitative research, and now the third wave is mixed method research, where we are using quantitative research and we are using qualitative research. In other words, we are collecting quantitative data, we are collecting qualitative data, and mixing both these data set to get a better picture or to get a better solution of research problem. And in the words of Johnson and Onwigis 2004, I quote, "By narrowing the divide between quantitative and qualitative researchers, mixed method research has a great potential to promote a shared responsibility in the quest for attaining accountability for educational quality. The time has come for mixed method research." I agree with this claim that certainly the time has come for mixed method research, and after learning this mixed method research, you will be happy and you will be willing to conduct mixed method research or in your own way, and you will also be able to guide your student and colleagues to read more about mixed method research and to use this research for better research finding and for better output. Here I have listed some of the references given in this presentation, and I hope that these references will be helpful to you Besides, I have also listed some readings, and these readings will help you to understand mixed method research in a better way. And there are a number of literature available on mixed method research design. A number of researchers have written articles, produced books, and mixed method research designs are quite popular. So, reading of this literature will give you a more idea about what is mixed method research, what are popular mixed method designs, and it will also help you to understand these things in a better way. After learning these segments, you will be able to plan and conduct mixed method research. And of course, this is just the beginning, and you can carry on this experience, and after reading some more, you can take mixed method research in a better way. So, I hope you have enjoyed these sessions. Thank you for watching this video. Namaskar.